What's up, YouTube? This is your boy Kenny Finance. Welcome back to the channel. This is gonna be a fun one. I literally woke up about 2 hours ago to my grandma texting me, "What the heck is happening in the market right now? Stocks are down. Is your job okay?" She was always asking about my job. My own portfolio is down like $10,000 plus right now. I'm not stressing. I'll tell you why. But and the markets are going crazy right now. And I thought that why not have like a cool, raw, unedited, unscripted, just like point of view of what's happening in the markets and the world so that we can chat about this together. And I want to give you guys sort of like the inside of the mind of the pros as we consume information, as we think about what's happening in the world and the markets. You know, I'm going to share my screen and walk through like literally everything I consumed this morning to come up with a point of view on whether or not this is something to be seriously considered. But yeah, I just wanted to have sort of like a nice, cool, casual walkthrough of like what's happening today in the market. And if you guys enjoy this type of content or video, let me know in the comments. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm Kenny. I work in private equity, but then I also make like funny, goofy YouTube videos, teach people financial literacy and smart money moves. But if you guys enjoy this kind of stuff, let me know. Subscribe to the channel, and let's dive in here. I wake up every single morning, I check 3 key resources. That's how I get all of my news. Like, I'm not waking up and checking Twitter or TikTok or Instagram for news. If you're doing that, you're chalked. I check credible resources that writes very knowledgeable, in-depth articles on what's happening in the business, economy, markets, politics, the world, geopolitics, everything, all right? And my first one is Wall Street Journal. And if you don't have Wall Street Journal, like you can just like read the headline articles and the quick description and get a gist of what's actually happening out there. But it is worth an investment. I think it's like $200 a year or something, but it's a good thing to read. I'll also check Bloomberg as well as Financial Times. Those are my 3 key babies. And you can kind of get a sense that something is kind of bad and off when you look at all 3 and they kind of all have the exact same headline. So Wall Street Journal, they're saying stocks literally are plummeting because of China's DeepSeek. And that's the headline topic of today's video, is we're going to understand what China's DeepSeek actually is. But I just want you guys to get a sense of like what folks are seeing and reacting to, and is this China DeepSeek. And NASDAQ, which is largely an index of a lot of the technology stocks, technology companies in the US, that's down about 4%. Overall, S&P 500 is down 2%. And Dow Jones is kind of like flat, actually positive. So a lot of those are like manufacturing, industrials, and value-based companies. But this just shows, and if you're not familiar with what an index is essentially a basket of stocks. So instead of picking one, you can kind of buy the NASDAQ index, the S&P index, the Dow Jones index. And they just represent a basket of stocks. So the Dow Jones, I think, is 30 stocks. S&P is about 500 stocks. And then NASDAQ, I don't know how many are in there, but mostly tech stocks. So Wall Street Journal's headline article is stocks are falling, largely due to tech ones. And then there's like a return to office mandate. Thank God I work from home. There's a new cocaine-funded gang shakeup in Colombia. Praying for everyone's safety there. And it's good to just stay on top of like what's happening, not just in the business, but also in the world. So that's Wall Street Journal. Let's chat Bloomberg. Okay, so Bloomberg, get up out my email, bro. Bloomberg is saying DeepSeek battered Nvidia, loses title of the most valuable firm to Apple. Okay, all right. Nvidia lost $560 billion today. That's tough. That is tough. Okay, so that's Bloomberg. They're talking about DeepSeek as well, and they have this cool video here you can watch if you want a little bit more of an in-depth one after watching my video on DeepSeek. But okay, that's Bloomberg, and then Financial Times. Another one. Okay, so you get the gist. Stocks are crashing because of DeepSeek and its impact on Nvidia, and I'll tell you why. And then that's pretty much it. So now I got to wake up and understand what the heck is happening with Nvidia and this DeepSeek. And this is like the mind of a pro. Like, I'm waking up, I'm seeing what's happening, I'm seeing how the world is reacting to something, and then I'm figuring out what is worth diving into to understand that I have the best point of view on whether or not it's worth me reacting or positioning or like moving towards. So As Nvidia, they shed more than 600 billion in value as DeepSeek sparks market rout. All right, dog. I get the gist. DeepSeek is shaking stuff up. It should be deep shake. Like they're deeply shaking up the market right now. And like I said, S&P 500 index fund is down 2%. FYI, a lot of my cash is in here. And also, before I jump into a lot of this stuff, so my lawyers don't come after my neck, none of this is investment advice. This is simply reactions and my perspectives on what is happening in the market. And if you want investment advice, read a book. All right. Here, we're going to pause here. We're going to go to Kenny's library. And I made a video on the top 100 investment books that I read and the ones that actually matter. And people think that's cap. Like, it's a really good video. It's performing well. But, like, I actually read these stuff. Like, there's books behind me right there that I got to read from the library. But if you want, like, the best investing book to get started with, I highly recommend Warren Buffett Way. If you want investment advice, don't come to me. Don't come to Twitter. Read this damn book. All right. This book right here will teach you everything there is to know about investing. It takes all of Warren Buffett's annual letters and his perspectives and his speeches, and it puts it into a very consolidated book and understanding Warren Buffett's mindset when it comes to businesses, markets, management teams, economies, all that stuff, and figures out how exactly to be a great, sound, long-term investor like Warren Buffett. Now that's investment advice. Now let me jump here. So S&P 500, a lot of my cash is actually in this index fund. So my savings, I don't have it in Chase. I have it in Robinhood that's invested in this. My 401k is largely in an S&P 500 index fund. So this matters a lot. Every morning I pretty much check this to make sure that like it's not down 100%. But like the good thing is, on average, the S&P 500 index fund has done phenomenally well. This is the most diversified thing you could possibly find. And Warren Buffett, one of his best things that he recommends for retail investors is to not just like focus on buying individual stocks like Nvidia or DeepSeek or whatever. I don't think you can buy DeepSeek. He says the best thing for a retail investor, which is me and you, is to buy an index fund that tracks the S&P 500, buy it regularly, buy it as early as you can, and hold it over time. And this shows like over time, it's consistently a winner. All right. And it also shows, since it's so diversified, lots of indexes are down 4 or 5%. Nvidia's down 20%. This one is only down 2%, right? Like, because it's so diversified and it's not heavily reliant on one particular stock. But I just want to let you know and make it very clear that I own a lot, like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of S&P 500 index fund. So it's important for you to understand like what's happening here. And then if we go to Nvidia, this right here is this is the big news here. It's down 17%. Which is wild because of DeepSeek. And if you don't know what NVIDIA is, artificial intelligence is taking over the world, all right? And artificial intelligence is essentially using computers and large language models to sort of process information, come up with solution, generate images, generate text, generate videos, all kinds of things. It's essentially, if you ever seen that movie Robot or I, Robot with Will Smith, that's kind of like AI. And everyone's lives are soon to be impacted by it. Folks are using it to search for concepts and do research, and kind of their everyday Googling around is now powered by AI. But soon, a lot of the autonomous vehicles are powered by AI technology. Robotics, like in-home robotics and stuff that was unveiled at a lot of these CES shows, are powered by AI. AI is soon to be taken over. And the thesis with NVIDIA is that NVIDIA provides the picks and shovels to the AI revolution. And what that means is, in order for AI to actually do what it needs to do, of course, there's like the software and the programs that generate the actual outputs. But before that, you need the actual graphic processing units or GPUs that can sort of have the horsepower to produce a lot of those tokens and pieces of pixels and token, like, I don't know how to describe it. I'm butchering this, what they do. But essentially, you use NVIDIA's GPUs to power the processing of an AI engine. All right. So without NVIDIA's chips, and there's a few other competitors, but like they're the largest ones out there. Without NVIDIA's chips, a lot of the AI processing and innovation would not be possible. So everyone's view is like, if AI is going to go to the moon, NVIDIA's also going to go to the moon. And that was the thesis for the last like 5-10 years. And as you can tell, this thing absolutely ripped. Like if you bought this stock in 2014, you would be like a multimillionaire by now if you only put like 5,000-10,000. Even if you bought it like in 2022, 2023, right? It's like this thing has absolutely ripped just because more and more AI has come out and folks are realizing it's like a real thing and it's here to stay for the future. Over the last 5 years, it's up 1,900%. But year to date, it's fallen last year about 90% plus. But what's interesting is this rose up so much that over the last 6 months, it kind of hasn't moved that much. Primarily because it's a very expensive stock in terms of like how much it's making relative to competitors and in multiple versus its public comparables. But there's also a question of whether or not like the AI stuff is like overhyped. So that's Nvidia, and the stock has kind of been like flat the last 6 months, but then today has been absolutely hammered, primarily because of DeepSeek. And I'll tell you what DeepSeek is in like literally 2 or 3 minutes. I just want to walk through the story. But this stock has gone down a lot. A lot of the Wall Street pros and hedge funds are actually buying this one as well, Nvidia. And that is a levered bet, meaning like if Nvidia goes up 10%, this one goes up 20. If Nvidia goes down 10%, this one goes down 20%. So it's like a way to like leverage returns. It's kind of aggressive. But you can see this one's down 35%. And then there's another one that's like a 3x leverage. And that's down 52%. And the volume is 2.8 million shares. So there's real people out there that own this 3x levered Nvidia stock and lost half their money. Couldn't be me. All right. But why does this matter? Let's talk about why this matters. Okay. So this matters because when you look at the S&P 500, like I said, it's a basket of different stocks, 500 of them to be exact. And if you look at the composition of the S&P 500, the largest stock in the S&P 500 is Nvidia. It represents about 6.7% over 6.8% of the overall weighting of the S&P 500. So that's like very important. So anything that's like needle moving for Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, like those top companies can kind of shake the overall stock market. And the fact that Nvidia is down almost 20%, of course, it's going to shake up the rest of the index fund. So that's why it matters, and that's why it's all over the news, is because trillions of dollars of equity values being wiped out by this. And who knows what's going to happen tomorrow, but that's just a gist of why it's important to the stock market and why folks are reacting to it that way. And I know you clicked on this for DeepSeek, but I will get to that. I just want to give you a little setup of what's happening in the market and how folks are reacting. And if you haven't yet, please hit that like button down below for your boy. Okay, now let's check Twitter. Twitter is always a good vibe. You can follow me on Twitter at IamKennyFinance, by the way. But Twitter is always a really good vibe to check what's happening with like the emotional folks. I like to call the Twitter the place for like people that have nothing to do but tweet and talk about what's happening in the world all day. Getting some really weird ads. But all right, let's talk. I had some bookmarks of some interesting things. And we'll talk about these in a second. But what's important to see is ChatGPT has now been displaced by DeepSeek as the #1 app on the Apple Store. That's crazy. I think it came out like a few weeks ago, but maybe a few months ago. But like almost overnight, this thing has like really jumped to the moon. And we're going to give you like a nice little AI 101. And for folks that want to understand what DeepSeek is, DeepSeek, which is this site right here, they also have an app. DeepSeek is essentially the Chinese version of ChatGPT. And if you don't know what ChatGPT is, it is essentially a website and an app where you can literally ask it anything in the entire world and it can produce it or almost do it for you, right? Here's ChatGPT. This is like the US version made by OpenAI. And what can I help with? It's kind of like your virtual assistant for absolutely anything. What is YouTube and how do I make a video? How do I make it cool so people subscribe to me? I don't know. Okay. Look at this. It took half a second for it to start producing information. And if I've never heard of YouTube before in my entire life, like if I'm like a 110-year-old person that just doesn't know what YouTube is, this gives me pretty good information, all right? It tells me what YouTube is, a video sharing platform. People upload, watch, and interact with videos. And it tells me how to make a video. I can plan for it. Here's the audience, the camera equipment I need, the background, Hopefully you guys like my background right now. I literally just moved a week ago, so I don't have enough time to set up the cool stuff like my old videos, so don't hate on me yet. It'll get there. It's actually gonna be like right there, by the way. Now how do I make it cool, be authentic, hook the viewers in the first 10 seconds? I'm still working on that. Consistent branding. Okay, can you finance, I guess. Provide value. I try to teach folks. Engage. I read every single comment, and I try to reply to every single comment, and I love all of you guys. Keep it short and engaging. This one's not going to be short. So we're diving in the mix here. And then collaborate with other, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't like a lot of the other YouTubers that are finance people. I like Cody Sanchez. Cody Sanchez is really nice. I like Nisha. She's really cool. The other ones are nice as well, but those are the only two that I really like. But, and then be consistent. Every single Friday, I don't know if you guys know this, every single Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern time, a video is coming out by Kenny Finance. I'm being special by uploading something real time on Monday just to give you guys a market pulse. But usually every single Friday, I got something coming out for you guys. Okay. And then check this out. Make me a script for a YouTube video on how to invest for beginners. Look at how powerful this is. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. Now, what Nvidia is doing is Nvidia chips are processing a lot of the computing engine around these responses, primarily because there's a chip called a GPU that's generating a lot of and a GPU kind of is like a big box of very complex math. And very complex math, when you do a lot of math to it, it kind of creates a beautiful output. And that could be an image, a video, or words, or response, or anything, right? So very complex math has produced this response of what is YouTube and how do I make a video, but then also a script for how to invest for beginners. Now, the video I made on how to invest for beginners a while back, this is not my script, okay? But it shows you like this is very powerful to do that. But like Nvidia chips and other like competitor chips, GPUs, are processing the math to produce this, okay? So that is that. OpenAI made ChatGPT. Now the world is freaking out because ChatGPT cost, they have a free version, but I hit limits every single day. I have this free version. They also have a $20 a month version where you can like have a lot more file uploads, more advanced data analysis, image generation, all kind of things. And then they have a pro mode, which is $200 per month. And it gives you the highest access to all of the best things in the world, like this new operator research function that just came out. They have this cool Sora video generation thing. Like, look that up. That is like a lot of really cool things here that you have access to at $200 a month. I'm just not paying that. All right, I'm using the free version, but like the free version does have limitations. Like every time I'm like doing some deep AI stuff, I hit like hey, you ran out of credits or you ran out of your free version, stuff like that. But it refreshes every single day. So that's that. This is how much it costs. DeepSeek is the Chinese equivalent of ChatGPT, but it is almost 99% cheaper. Hear me out. DeepSeek is literally equivalent and arguably better than ChatGPT, and it costs 99% cheaper. Not like this headline price here, but like to produce and make from like the big tech infrastructure with like data centers and engineers and all that stuff and all the complex models and all that. The engine behind the AI that made DeepSeek costs significantly cheaper than the cost it incurred to make ChatGPT. All right, let's talk a little bit about DeepSeek. All right. So what DeepSeek is literally just like ChatGPT. And let's try to figure out whether or not it is competitive or interesting and why it's shaking up the world. I don't know what any of this like crazy complex stuff is. This is how you know it's a Chinese company with the Chinese characters down below there. For all the engineers, like this is really good benchmark data for you to look at. But let's check here. Ooh. Okay. Due to large malicious attacks on DeepSeek services, registration may be busy. Malicious attacks. Psh. So this is not the video where we demo DeepSeek. You can forget about it. Actually, get me off of this website right now. All right, I was worried about that, and it's malicious attacks. Yeah, I'm out of there. Anyway, but it's literally just like a DeepSeek, just like a ChatGPT chatbot. Let's look at DeepSeek demos. Let me see. DeepSeek chatbot. Okay, it looks just like it. All right. How can I help today? ChatGPT literally does the exact same thing. It's literally an exact replica of ChatGPT. So that's that there. Let me get off this website because of this malicious activity. But I think the one thing that you all should understand is if you look on Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter at IamKennyFinance. If you look on Twitter, what's actually crazy is this is the most important thing you got to take away. OpenAI, which is the parent company of ChatGPT, has pricing for how much it costs to process ChatGPT. DeepSeek is significantly cheaper. Like for 1 million input tokens, it costs $15 to process. It is 14 cents for DeepSeek, and they give almost equivalent and sometimes better answers. And then for the pro subscriptions, it's free versus $200 a month. That's the biggest thing that folks are understanding is the actual large language model layer of AI has become a commoditized product, and it's becoming significantly cheaper because of innovation and engineers and folks that are coming out of places like DeepSeek that can make this stuff better and cheaper. So that's why Nvidia is tanking, is because folks think that if the race to AI large language models is going to the bottom, then there's no need for Nvidia chips. And we're going to kind of spend some time to figure out whether or not that's actually true and if that's something to worry about. But this is some of the biggest takeaways. Let's also see what else is happening on Twitter. Like I said, this is the top one here. This was funny. I thought this was very funny.
The technology actually doesn't exist. So it's
the technology. William, here is the technology. I've asked you to simply make it smaller.
Okay, sir, and that's what we're trying to do, but honestly, it's impossible.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm not Tony Stark. So the technology actually doesn't exist. So
Okay.
It's
All right, so that's that. And then there's other stuff here. This is a really good tweet. And my view, and this I agree with this tweet wholeheartedly, is that Jensen Huang is an absolute legend when it comes to the world of AI. Okay, what he's created is nothing short of greatness. They have operations and manufacturing partners in China as well, and it's do you think that they were just shocked over the weekend, like us, that a new or recent large language model came out that is cheaper than OpenAI, and they didn't know about it? This company is worth trillions of dollars, and a business that spent $6 million creating a large language model can do some magic in AI, and they didn't know about it. That's kind of sketch. All right, so I think they knew about this. I think they're not worried about this. I think it's actually potentially going to help them. I'll tell you my thesis in a little bit. And there's no way that some of the smart money folks in here are I think this is a buying opportunity for not Nvidia, maybe not that, but just for the space broadly. I think there's gonna be a lot of interesting names and a lot of dislocation in the market because I think this is significantly overblown and folks are just, overreacting. And let's also look up some more DeepSeek stuff. Let's see. Ooh, Luke de Pulford. What's up, Luke? He says, just FYI, DeepSeek collects your IP, keystroke patterns, device info, and stores it in China where all that data is vulnerable to arbitrary requisition from the Chinese state. I don't care about the politics behind that. I just care about my data being stored and vulnerable. And then I saw on their website malicious attacks. Psh, no shot, yo. No shot. Yeah, I'm out of there. Yeah, so that's why folks are going crazy and overreacting right now. But what's funny is it's crazy that I got a lot of these texts this morning being I don't know what's happening in the world of AI. I think it's a little crazy right now. But I actually talked about this in my newsletter. So if you guys go to my newsletter, tomorrowsfortune.beehive.com, and the link is below. Literally every single Friday I come up with smart Wall Street topics that impact the markets and your money. I talked about this last Friday. This news hit, like I think like it was not the news hit, but the topic of DeepSeek has been around for a little bit, and I've been like curious about it. But the market spaz out and crash out happened literally today. But I wrote about it on Friday. So you guys should have been reading my newsletter if you want to get ahead of the curve on a lot of this stuff. But I guess you guys don't want to. What else did we talk about in our newsletter? We talked about the 10 businesses that you can buy that never fail. I love this video. It came out last Friday. And if you don't know, I'm building a holding company where I'm buying private businesses across the U.S., using that cash flow to buy more businesses and building a beautiful holding company, just like Berkshire Hathaway. And that's my day-to-day life. And one of the cool things that I talk about in this video are the 10 businesses that I'm super excited about that are almost recession-proof and never fail. So if you are interested in buying a business, whether it's a laundromat, a car wash, software, whatever you want to do, these are 10 businesses I think you should at least look into. And people are loving this video so far. Performance is great. And if you already watched that, I love you guys. I appreciate you. And if you guys aren't a subscriber, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like this video, and check out some of my other stuff. We talk about Apple and what's happening with their sales. We give you details on Netflix, who just crushed it with earnings and how their stock's doing. We talk about VIX. We talk about the labor market insights and what's happening with the U.S. economy and jobs. We talk about tariffs and the potential implications of tariffs on Canada, Mexico, Germany, China, and how it's going to impact U.S. consumers. And as a little preview, I'm not supposed to be doing this, but I got a video coming out on this on Friday, I think. So be prepared. But boom, here in all my newsletters, I always talk about what's happening in AI. And China's AI is beating the US on a budget. Here's how. Oh, Kenny, all this news hit about DeepSeek today. How could you possibly know this information? It's been there, bro. You just didn't read it. Okay? DeepSeek came out with theirs in December. And it's significantly cheaper. It costs $5.6 million versus the hundreds of millions that folks are spending money on. And literally, the implications of this. Read the newsletter. No, but it's like I give you guys deadass. I give you guys like a lot of good information on here that, and I love the folks that are reading this. If you are reading my newsletters every week, you are literally the greatest. And you're probably a better investor than 90% of folks out there. But smart money folks aren't reacting to news and stocks like this. Like we are very well aware of what's happening in the world. We write about it, we think about it, we reflect on it, and we position our capital accordingly. That's the essence of smart money moves. Like I haven't made it almost 10 years on Wall Street by reacting to Twitter. Like that's not, don't get me started. And I also talk about side hustles. And on the side hustle for this week or last week was using AI to make resumes. And people are making $1,000 to $3,000 a month doing that. So, all right. That's my newsletter. You can literally sign up on tomorrowsfortune.beehive.com. Link is below. Where do I want to wrap up? I should give you guys my thesis of what's happening here. So my thesis of what I think is happening. Also, here's my favorite quote of all time. Be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. People are freaking out right now. Be greedy. Do some research, find some time to reflect on what's a good stock to buy. And then, there's two things that I'm buying. Or not actually buying. Like I said, this is not investment advice. This is simply my reflections and emotions and how I'm vibing today. But my thesis is that, and let's try to articulate a really nice thesis. My thesis is that when it comes to AI, the large language models, which are like the models that produce the chatbots and the developers are using to process the actual AI outputs, I think that's becoming commoditized because innovation, faster computers, and smarter engineers can make that very cheaper. That is visibly evident with DeepSeek. It costs hundreds of millions of dollars to make ChatGPT, and it costs $6 million to make DeepSeek. That's going to only go down to zero, okay? Folks are going to soon be making their own LLMs. So I think I wouldn't invest in that layer. They're not even public companies. You can't really invest in it, but I wouldn't invest if I could. Folks are freaking out about Nvidia, which I think is overblown. I don't think Nvidia should be down this much because folks are thinking with AI being commoditized and the price of that going to almost zero, there's going to be no need for GPUs. But keep in mind, GPUs are the super-powered chips that do all of the crazy mathematical equations to process the tokens that are being used to generate a lot of these outputs on the images, the videos, the chatbots. All right. So I think what's happening with DeepSeek is the barrier to entry to interact with AI, aka having a chatbot and having like these large language models, has going almost all the way down to zero. But that doesn't mean that like demand for these GPUs from Nvidia is going to zero. It just means that like potentially, and this is not like my solid view, I need to do some more research, potentially there could be more demand for Nvidia chips because since more people are using large language models and more people are sort of interacting with AI, you're just going to need more and more chips to actually process a lot of the back end infrastructure around the actual processing and like the complex math and algorithms that create those tokens. So I think you'll see Nvidia back in the green by the end of this year or next year, probably. That's my view. And that's not advice, that's just like my view. So I think this stuff is overblown. But what I think an attractive thesis is Nvidia is like a very expensive stock. There are competitors coming out now, and the stock has been hammered and pretty much flat the last 6 months. That's not smart money right now. So the GPU layer I wouldn't touch. The large language model layer I probably wouldn't touch as well. What's interesting is the software and application layer of software making what AI's potential is usable for businesses and people, right? If there's like a software that can use AI to assess and diligence all kinds of labor market data and help a HR person figure out where they need to hire the next talent, that's a good business to buy. I think that's a valuable, strong value proposition. So buy a software company that does that. Or consumer-facing app, right? If we can use all the AI in the entire world on our phone to build a budgeting app and AI can like take all my finances and make a really interactive budgeting app, I think that's good. Keep in mind, a lot of these businesses are going to be very competitive, but I still wouldn't invest in those two layers. Those would be interesting and a smart play, but I think it's still tough to make money there because it's so competitive. And that price where in the consumer layer are probably going to compete down to zero as well. Not zero, but like pretty affordable. What's interesting is a business like Snowflake, what they do is they do cloud storage data. And what that is for is software companies and consumer companies that have all the business clients and people using their stuff, they need to store that stuff someplace, somewhere. We don't have enough data centers in the entire world to like store physically all of like the usage and consumer and business information. So people store it in the cloud, right? And Snowflake is one of those businesses that provide cloud storage to a lot of software and consumer companies. So I think if more and more folks are going to be spending time using AI because it's becoming cheaper and Nvidia's producing all these GPUs to make it accessible and like possible to like be really smart, more and more people are going to use it, more and more data is going to be consumed, and more data needs to be stored. So might as well buy the storage layer or data storage layer of the AI play because more folks are going to be using it in software and consumer. And this one here, it shows that the stock hasn't been hit today. Nvidia went down 18%. This one's up 0.5%. I'm just saying. This is not advice. This is just like me walking you through a potential thesis in my head. So this is where I'm spending time thinking about. But the stock has also been like really hurt in like the last year. So I'm trying to figure out why. But and my Patreon, I'll put a link down below on my Patreon, but I give you guys alerts of like when I buy a stock and when I sell a stock. And I'll let you know if I end up buying this one. So, and I'll write you guys a little investment memo and thesis. But that's like my quick over the weekend gut reaction to what I think is like a cool play. So, and that's just the mind of like a Wall Street pro thinking about stocks and investing. I'm not doing no dumb stock chart trading candles and all that stuff. And I'm not doing meme coins and all that. I'm thinking about real businesses, doing a real thesis. I'm going to read the 10K and research reports on Snowflake to see if it's a good quality business. I'm going to check their cash flow profile and all kinds of stuff. So that's what I do, baby. And like I said, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. And then the other thing is I told you I'm also going to be buying another thing. The other thing I'm buying is, boom, back to this. I'm buying index funds, baby. All right? Because it's diversified and it goes literally all the way up to here. And what's cool is I have a YouTube video out actually, and I'll put a link into like the next video where I'll talk about like my top 5 index funds. This is my number 1, but there are 4 others that I think are like really solid index funds to look at. And let me try to find it for you guys. And I'll go here and I'll try to tell you Oh, here. Yes, this one. Top 5 index funds to own for life. That's I'll give you guys some good stuff here. All right, where I talk about not just SPY, but like other interesting index funds that you can buy that are diversified and solid that you guys should take a look at. And look, this is also, shout out to our thumbnails. These things go crazy, low key. This is one of my favorite videos. I made this for my nephew, where I talk about how I'm gonna make him a millionaire because I opened him an Acorns early account. And then this is my very first video 8 months ago. Guys, I'm only 8 months in my YouTube journey. Isn't that kind of cute? But here's my very first video, so check that out there. And then, what else? Yeah. But yeah, this is my favorite one right here, which is this top 5 index funds to own. All right, so that's it. I appreciate you guys checking in. Like I said, wake up in the morning, look at the Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, Financial Times. Stocks are crashing. Why are they crashing? You should have read my newsletter, because in my newsletter, literally last week, I talked about this stuff. Okay? I'm not running my mouth just to run my mouth. All right? I'm trying to help you guys make smart money moves. If you want any recommendation, I wouldn't touch the OpenAI thing right now. Not OpenAI. If you want any recommendation, I wouldn't sign up for DeepSeek right now. Let them get their cybersecurity and malicious data attempts and attacks under order. So get that stuff situated first. But I appreciate you guys rocking with us. Like I said, if you enjoyed this format of this video, make sure you guys let me know in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you want me to do more stuff like this, because literally I do this every single morning without hitting record on my camera. So I can do this all day, every day for you guys. But if you enjoyed this, make sure you guys smash that like button and let me know. And I'll catch you guys on some other video next. Maybe watch the index fund one, or maybe watch or read my newsletter or something. Look, I got stuff everywhere for you guys to consume and make smart decisions about money. I'm just here to like vibe with you guys. All right. So I appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful week. Invest smartly, invest wisely, take your time, be patient. Don't react too much to like what's happening in the everyday like nonsense of the market. And I will catch you guys later. Peace.